I'm Ifan Roberts, and having grown up on a small dairy farm in North Wales, I dreamt of one day having a larger scale dairy farm of my own. Therefore, I set about over the last 10 years climbing the dairy farming ladder from general farm worker to unit manager to now becoming a contract dairy farmer in Cheshire, where I farm with my two business partners and the landowner, where we milk just over 500 split block calving cows in a pasture-based system. How can we inspire the next generation of dairy entrepreneur? This was a question I found myself asking when thinking of a topic to do on my Nuffield Scholarship. With the age of dairy farmers in the UK alone rising steadily now towards 60, I was asking, why is there not any more young people looking to participate in the industry from all sorts of backgrounds? Therefore, I travelled to China, Chile, New Zealand and North America, and even was fortunate enough to fulfil a lifelong dream of attending the Berkshire Hathaway shareholders meeting in Omaha, Nebraska.
In the UK, I met a first-generation dairy farmer that rose through the ranks from only 10 years ago, learning about what milk fever was, to now milking 600 cows in a contract farming agreement and winning the RABDF Gold Cup, and further achieving his life goal of farm ownership. At the Berkshire Hathaway meeting, I learned about a large number of entrepreneurs that had over the years helped shape the company to what it is today, including Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett, the founders. But one story that stuck out for me was Rose Blumkin, who came over as an immigrant to the US, not knowing a word of English, and with just the clothes on her back, lived the American dream as a female entrepreneur, starting a furniture mart in her basement that over time became one of the largest in America. She to me is living proof that nothing is impossible, and if one has the correct mindset, anything can be achieved. In New Zealand, I also saw many great examples of the well-trodden pathway of share milking, and that it's still very relevant today as it was years ago, building bridges between landowners and enthusiastic individuals to achieve fluid succession and progression. In China, I was impressed not only at how they had managed to achieve such scale, with many units milking in excess of 10,000 cows, but the speed in which they had achieved this, with most of the progress being made in this side of the millennium. These numbers of cows need large workforces, and with most farms boasting a team of over 50 individuals, I was impressed with their approach to people management and how they built almost a village and a community around to support the dairy farm. In Chile, I was impressed by how effective a welcoming approach to foreign investment into farming by government can be, and how this had allowed new entrants to have access to and develop fertile soils to produce milk without being crippled by long-term debts. These people had also immersed themselves into their communities and made it a full win-win scenario. In California, I met an interesting dairy farmer who had been nicknamed the Slumlord because he had crafted a dairy business from scratch to milking 6,000 cows on 6 units by breathing new life into undervalued, overlooked and neglected dairy farms. He had achieved this with the help of various mechanisms in the US, such as first-time farmer loans and vendor financing to help resource the rapid growth of his business, which I think would be beneficial to adopt in other countries also.
In meeting and learning from more than 40 dairy entrepreneurs, I was struck by how many of them had no farming background and inherited no land. Yet through vision, hard work and determination, they created lives of time and financial freedom in their 30s and 40s, freedom that many spend a lifetime chasing. Of course, dairy farming is not a license to print money, but what sets these farmers apart is that they belong to one of the most driven, innovative and successful groups in agriculture today.
I would like to give thanks to the Nuffield Farming Scholarship Trust, my sponsor the Trahane Trust, and to all the people I visited and who helped with my study.